Greetings, BlazeLeeDragon here, and I had a request for a video posted on my public Facebook page, and Natalia was asking me if I could kind of go into some details on wearing accessories, and if they're needed, and if they're not needed, are they helpful, and why are they helpful, and things like that. So she was basically asking, because I asked her for a little bit more detail, what does she mean by wearing accessories, and she was talking about basically talismans and amulets and things of that such. As far as talismans and amulets and the whole nine yards are concerned, or any form of object or jewelry or piece that you're wearing as an accessory, as far as spiritual practice and magic goes, no, it's not needed. There's no reason you have to have it. However, a lot of people find it to be useful and helpful, and it is fairly common among some to wear them. Now, why? Let's first talk about what an amulet is, what a talisman is, and why individuals would choose to wear it or not choose to wear it, and how it could potentially help. First, let's talk about an amulet. An amulet would usually be something that has a specific property for a specific purpose, such as a protective amulet, which is usually the purpose of having an amulet is for protection. Now, that protection could be spiritual or physical or emotional. There's tons of forms of protection. And to have this amulet, you would either keep it on your person if it's like some form of stone or disc or thing like that, or if it's like a ring, you could wear it in your hand. If it's a bracelet, you can wear it on your wrist or ankle. If it's, a necklace or medallion type of a deal, you can wear around your neck. There's tons of ways of wearing an amulet. Now, the amulet itself, it depends on who you speak to. Some people will say that an amulet is only an amulet because it has natural-born properties, such as a specific stone with protective properties for a specific purpose, or it could even be like an actual herb that's an amulet, and you can make like a vial with it or something along those lines and wear that on a cord. And they will sometimes say, depending on who you speak to, once again, that the amulet, it has to already have its natural magical properties. My personal feelings and thoughts on that is that you would charge an amulet, enchant an amulet, or load an amulet, depending on what term you want to use and what magical tradition you come from. And you would put those properties for one specific purpose where it would be self-working and it just does its thing, just by existing. Of course, there's tons of ways to enhance it. There are tons of ways to do enchantment. There are tons of ways to do loading, or infusing. There's many ways of doing these types of things. A talisman, on the other hand, would be, once again, depending on who you speak to, would be something that has magical properties. It is something that is not going to necessarily do a function on its own, but is going to help with a function. So it would enhance magical abilities through its very nature of existence. And once again, the talisman is usually something that you charge, obviously making out of specific materials to help to increase that are preferable. However, you can always enchant or load the object with those properties in order to enhance your workings that you do, or to help your focus. When it comes to any sort of tool, whether it be a ritual tool or a talisman, it's usually something that works as a foci or a focus, something to direct your intention, kind of like a magnifying glass to amplify. That's the whole idea behind it. Now, of course, when you are enchanting, loading, or creating a talisman, the other individuals will sometimes say that a talisman is always something that is created by a magical practitioner of a tradition, and they're putting the properties on the item. Whereas an amulet, like I said, would be something from nature already with those properties. Now, if for some reason I have a lot of individuals, not a lot, but I do have individuals who like to watch my videos and they don't believe in magic and they think it's all crap, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I smile because I obviously believe in magic. Now, for the scientific mind, if you want to consider it from a scientific point of view, consider an amulet or something with magical properties and healing properties. Consider the molecular structure. The atomic weights and everything are different and separate in the way the structures are together. It has different densities and different hardness and things like that, and it has different properties. Well, these properties also reflect onto the spiritual plane as well. So there's an interaction on a metaphysical level as well as a physical level. So individuals who believe and practice and utilize magic are going to work with these properties, and they're going to choose an item based upon these properties where they're going to help to enhance it as far as enchanting and loading and putting on properties, directing your intent into it. Once again, it depends on your practice and tradition, and I usually don't talk about direct practice, I talk about theory in my videos. But the idea or the concept behind that, if you want to look at it once again from a standpoint of scientific point of view, if you're interested in that, is if you were to hold an object, regardless of what the object is, in the palm of your hand, it's going to heat up from the heat of your body. Just by being next to the heat, it will take on the properties of the heat. Now, depending on what the item is, depends on how much heat it absorbs, how quickly it absorbs, and how quickly it'll dissipate and cool off. If you want to take it a step further, if you drop it in the boiling water or put it into a stove, likewise, some properties will melt, some properties will heat up and warm up and radiate the heat themselves. As an example, depending on the type of metal that you're using, steel versus just using, lead or iron, or if you're using gold, or if you're using pewter, each one of these different metals will do different things based upon the temperature that is applied upon it. Same thing is happening in metaphysical sense. You are directing and intending and putting this intent into the object so that it reflects. An interesting thing, plants are very receptive to this. If you go into a neighborhood that has very negative people, very, very foul-natured, a lot of crime, the trees look sickly and wilted. If you go to a neighborhood where people are happy and positive, the trees look healthier. If you don't believe me, check it out. Drive around some neighborhoods. If you know of a city nearby that has issues, drive by, check out the foliage. It reflects it because the energies and the vibrations affect things. Same thing as your mood is going to be reflected by the people around you. So that's the whole basis or basic comprehension behind what is enchanting and loading an object. So I got some examples, that's why I keep glancing down on my right here, of types of talismans type of a deal. I don't really think I have any amulets really. I do have some stones, etc., but I didn't bring those out. But just to give you an example, this here would be an example of something someone might charge to use as like a focus. It's actually a ring. It's pewter, so the properties of the metal aren't not going to help necessarily enhance anything. Or at least I don't know the properties of pewter personally. But, using this as a focus, for someone who's into dragons, not that BlazeLeeDragon would like dragons or anything. No, I don't like dragons. What are you talking about? But having something like this and using it as a focus to direct your intent or your energy could be helpful, and of course wearing it on your finger. Another example would be necklaces. This here is a long or Chinese dragon, Asian dragon, whatever you want to call it. And once again, the properties of it are not necessarily going to enhance. The chain is actually sterling silver. The pendant itself, I'm not really sure the metal it's made out of. Might be sterling silver as well. Silver does have protective qualities as well as purification ones, so using something like this for an amulet would be great. This, I've never used in any mystical sense. I just like dragons, and I just like to wear it. But this would be an example of something someone could use and wear. Not only is the chain, the properties of the metal could be helpful for whatever purpose you want to put it for, as well as the, necklace itself, the pendant, could also be. Depending on what sort of thing you're doing with dragons. Dragons are usually guardians and protectors anyway, depending on, once again, the culture that you're speaking of and the type of dragon. Then this is a very gaudy thing, and I can't believe I own it. I don't even know how old this is. This is like maybe 18 years old, but it's actually kind of like a crown type of a deal, and it is made out of bronze, and it's got a little pentagram hanging from it. And it's got cords so that you can tie it on. I actually think it looks better when you pull your hair up over it so it lays over the string, but you can even tie it around. And the idea is you put the band here and you tie it in the back of your head and it hangs down in your third eye, and it, once again, is a focus type of a thing. I don't even remember why I bought it. I think I was buying it for some form of meditation or to try to use it for type of rituals. But it's been sitting collecting dust for a while now. But yeah, it's interesting. So some people might think this is cool. Others are probably laughing like, wow, who would wear that? So it is what it is, and this is just another example. Of course, stones, I've seen a lot of chains that have stones hanging from them, once again lying in front of the third eye. And last but not least, these necklaces, which if you look at my older videos, you will see these are silver, tarnished silver now. They're all very dark. I haven't cleaned them really. I haven't worn them in a while either. But I used to have these necklaces on a lot. And here you have what's called the Triskele. And here you have what's called the Elven Star. And here you have what's called the Pentagram. And they're just hanging on a nylon cord. And this is another example of something you use as a talisman or an amulet. This is an example of using the symbol as well as the metal, because not only is it silver, but the pentagram itself is a protective symbol, so that could easily work as an amulet. Something like this, likewise, this is associated with the Celtic goddess Brigid, or just the triple goddess in general. And of course, the three selves, mind, body, and soul, etc. This is also what I have tattooed on my hand. So instead of wearing it as a necklace, I have it tattooed into my skin. And then, of course, the Elven Star stands for the 7 pathways, which that would be a video by itself, but this is hitting close to 12 minutes. So hopefully that answered your question. If you have further questions, feel free to post them below and to ask them. I will share my opinion or what I've learned throughout the years, and take it or leave it as it is. This is BlazeLeeDragon, and thanks for the question, Natalia.